agency for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now.
A free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired War Horse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now at centerright.live.
Today we decided.
Live from the Center Right Radio studios in Tempe, Arizona, the Chips and Salsa Show. Conservative conversation, picoso, not mocoso, with Don Jorge Ortiz and Alicia Lara. George, former California Democrat union man turned legislative GOP chairman.
And Alice, former New Mexico Democrat turned legislative GOP district state committee woman.
Together, they are your Chips and Salsa Show hosts.
Get your guac on now with George Ortiz and Alice Lara.
Live from the Center Right Radio Studios in Tempe, Arizona, the Chips and Salsa Show. Conservative conversation, picoso, not mocoso, with Don Jorge Ortiz and Alicia Lara. George, former California Democrat union man turned legislative GOP chairman.
And Alice, former New Mexico Democrat turned legislative GOP district state committee woman.
Together, they are your Chips and Salsa Show hosts.
Get your guac on now with George Ortiz and Alice Lara. Hello. Welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Jorge El Alacran with, I don't have my co-host today. Alice Lara is out today. She's celebrating her wedding anniversary with her husband, Mark. So we wish them a very, very joyous day. And she'll be back next week. Today is Saturday, May the 26th, 2018. And this is our Memorial Day tribute celebration of a Memorial Day, which is coming Monday. And I'll talk more about that in a little while. We have our Prather Point, I think. Do we? Yep, we're going to have our Prather Point in a little while. And our Cocotazos, the whole Cocotazo, the whole Enchilada Awards. And thanks today to our director and founder, Brandon Jones, and our associate producer, Sonia, Secret Sonia, for printing out our logos and doing stuff behind the scenes. And the music is given to you by David Beasley and logo Monica Lara. And today I have the pleasure of, for this first segment, before we go any further, I want to introduce Gayla Coletto, right? Coletto. And she's with, she belongs to Legislative District 23, or she's in Legislative District 23, and she's with Constitution in the Classroom. I'm gonna introduce her, and I'm gonna let her explain what she does. She's only here for a short period in our segment, so let's turn it over to Gayla.
Well, thank you, George, for inviting me.
And thank you for being on our show. And that little heart that you have is so
yes, isn't that nice? Got all my Constitution
and
all my patriotic bracelets. Yep. So I work with an organization, and we're a volunteer organization. It's called Constitution in the Classroom, and we travel around the state of Arizona, and we teach the Constitution to children in schools. It could be private school, public school, charter schools, wherever the teachers or the parents of the children want us to come. And if the parent wants us to come to their school, they talk to the principal, they get permission, we go in and we teach them the Constitution. We don't get involved in politics, so we don't talk about Democrat and Republicans or candidates. We just teach about the Founding Fathers and the documents of our country and the laws of the land and the freedoms that it has given us. The Constitution, the way it's taught, is really sensational because we don't just teach dates. We don't tell the children, okay, to memorize a date. And so, yes, that's one of the books. That's the 5-lesson workbook for the civic scholars, and this is the patriotic one. And then we have a book that I use for myself. It's a training resource because I had to take classes in order to teach it to the children. And I also teach it to adults. I've taught it at the Palo Verde Republican Women's Club, and I teach it to, I was at Americans for Prosperity. I taught it over there. And we're having a segment of the month of June for 5 weeks. We're teaching at the Americans for Prosperity on 32nd Street. Just if you're traveling west, it's just south of Indian School Road. And the breakfast starts at 8:30 in the morning, and it's free. 8:30 to 9, you get a breakfast sandwich. And then from 9 to 10:30, we teach the Constitution. It'll be every Saturday in the month of June. So there's 5 lessons. And we tell you stories about the Founding Fathers and about how they came to write the Constitution and the importance of the Constitution and how this is the only country on the planet Earth that has the freedoms that we have. And it was the ideas of the Founding Fathers who put that together. Because before that, we were ruled under kings and tyrannical governments, and man wasn't free. And if it wasn't for the Constitution, we wouldn't even have the automobiles and the cell phones and the computers that we have today. And we tell you why that is and how that came to be in the lessons in the Constitution.
You know, what's really amazing is that in a lot of the schools, they don't teach the Constitution. And a lot of kids, you ask, you know, they teach it, but they break it up into what they want you to know, or what they want you to learn.
Right.
What seems like you're teaching them the Constitution.
Yes.
So what you're doing is great. And I wish all the schools would practice it. And I wish our superintendent would look at some of the stuff that you're doing and implement it. But it's so hard. They're so bureaucratic.
Yes.
That there's so many obstacles that like a leader like that would have to go through.
Right.
Just to introduce a programs like this in the school. But somehow it's going to work. It has to work.
It has to work, and that's why we do this, because we all have a passion, and we know we're losing our freedoms in our country. Exactly. And if we don't teach it, because Woodrow Wilson, there are stories that were in the Constitution, in the school books about the Constitution, that the children were taught, and Woodrow Wilson took that out of the school books. And so we introduced that to the children.
Okay, we're gonna be going into a commercial pretty soon.
Okay.
Why don't you give everybody your information, how to get a hold of you, how to your web page?
Okay, sure. So my name is Gayla, Gayla. My last name is Coletto, Coletto. You can follow me on Facebook. Just Gayla Coletto on Facebook. And there's also another group that we've hooked up, CITC is hooked up with. It's called Founders Keep, and they're going to be teaching our curriculum in the state of Kansas, which I think is great because we're going to try to get this across the country. The Constitution in the Classroom is CITCAZ.com. And you can go there and you'll see some of the instructors' lessons. But if you need to get in touch with me, my email address is GAYLAS as in Sam @Cox.net. So that's GAYLAS at Cox.net. Sorry.
And then you belong to legislative.
Yes, I'm in legislative. I'm a state committeeman in a precinct committeeman in Legislative 23.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that Mommy and Daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now at centerright.live.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14,
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired War Horse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
Yeah, I can't.
You're on, buddy, live.
Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Jorge El Alacran, Hillary's Deplorable. And as you can see, I'm wearing one of the shirts, Trump, Proud Deplorable. Trump's Proud Deplorable. So, we're back. That was Gayla Coletto. She's with Constitution in the Classroom. And she was here earlier with Ron Harder's program, Chi-Town. And I asked her to stay. When I found out what she was about, because this is the first time I've met her, I was really intrigued by her the programs that she's teaching, of trying to teach people and students in the classrooms the Constitution and all about the Constitution. And she's written those training manuals, which I think should be introduced into classrooms, but it's going to take a lot. And she has been, like she said earlier, I don't know if you were listening on the Facebook side of it, but during the break she said she had approached everybody running for the school board that about what she's doing, and she's also talked to the governor about it. And I told her that she should also talk to the person running against the governor, because if he were to win, then he should know about it too. We don't take favorites on who's running in the Republican ticket, and until after the primary. During the general election, of course, we endorse whoever the front runner is, on our side, the Republican side. But she needs to get her message across, and that's the reason I had her stay here for the first segment and introduce herself and her program. So I hope that a lot of you heard that and heard what she's all about. And that's Gayla Coletto. She's with the Legislative District 23. She's also, it says here, she's a committee person, and she's a precinct person and in her legislative district. She's an instructor, and it's called Constitution in the Classroom. And we need more people like her. We need more people to step up, and if they know the Constitution, and if they're willing to share what they know with students, with groups, that's all good. We need that. We need the unity in the party. We need the people to be educated. A lot of conservatives are educated, and they know the Constitution, and they carry it in their pocket sometimes. So this is for people that maybe don't know the Constitution that well, and she's a very good teacher. She's a very good instructor. So I hope that was helpful. And the Chips and Salsa shows tries to share that with our listeners, things like that. I want to mention something. Trump was at the naval graduation this week, and there was 1,100 graduates, and he said near the end of the graduation, "I'm staying here for hours to shake hands with each one of you grads," and he did that. To me, that's what leadership is all about. For a president to attend a graduation ceremony, a president, not just a regular senator, congressman, but a president, the leader of the country, and to stay for hours to make sure he shook each one of the grads' hands, speaks volumes of our president. That's why I just don't wear this shirt just, because it says deplorables, or I don't wear the hat because it says Make America Great. Or I do wear it to make America great again, to get the message across. But I believe in the cause. I believe in what our president is doing. I believe that he has the right thing in his heart to do the right thing for America. And he's not beholden to lobbyists. He's not beholden to special interests. He just wants to make America great again. He's got all the money in the world. You got $10 billion. You have enough money to do anything you want to do. He has that. He has money. He has everything. But he chose to take, I think, the most difficult job in the world to be the leader of the world. Because that's what he is the leader of the world. And he's trying to do his best. The Democrats, on the other hand, are trying to do their best in putting roadblocks in front of him, trying to make sure he doesn't accomplish what he set out to accomplish. They don't want the wall. They don't want to get rid of Obamacare with something better, because you don't get rid of it just to get rid of it. You get rid of it and bring something better, something that's that everybody is able to use. It doesn't increase over the years, and that's what this one's been doing, and it leaves a lot of people out. We need care, we need medical care, but we don't need Obamacare. It's got to be taken out. The wall must be built, because without walls you don't have borders. So it's common sense. He was going to capitulate with DACA, and the Dems said no. I've never seen a president that says he's going to, in recent times, it said he was going to give what I call probably amnesty to 80 some odd, 800,000, what was it, 1 million or something, DACA recipients. All they had to do was put money for the wall. That's all he asked for. The Democrats found everything possible not to agree with that. So they're against DACA. We're going to have the Prather Point, which is going to come up, and is that almost ready there?
Whatever you want.
Okay, we're going to do the Prather Point, and then right after the Prather Point, we'll talk about the Prather Point a little bit. So, without further ado, we'll run the Prather Point.
Hey everybody, Jeff Prather here, ex-government insider, now living outside the box, speaking truth to power on the Chip and Salsa Show with this week's Prather Point on Center Right Live. The left continues to disintegrate. It is a biblical plague of epic proportions. We are now seeing that it looks like the CIA director, head of the intelligence community, actually it's the DNI, but no matter, was lying just like Comey. The head of the FBI was lying, just like the Attorney General Lynch lied about the Phoenix tarmac visit, just like Eric Holder lied multiple times, just like Obama lied about you get to keep your doctor and shovel-ready jobs, and of course invoking executive privilege on Fast and Furious. Harvey Weinstein, the epitome of Hollywood hypocrisy, was arrested today. The Dems aren't worried about winning elections. They're worried about not going to jail as their entire platform disintegrates under hypocrisy and indictments. And this is good news because we may actually get our republic back. So I don't have time to talk about all of this in detail, but a couple crucial things is the on-off again negotiations with North Korea are no big deal. I was a defense attaché officer in the military also, and you must negotiate from a position of strength, not like Obama did, where you just give away everything and spend millions of dollars in cash in unmarked aircraft to Iran. So this is standard. This is good, what's going on. There's no reason to worry. This is just standard posturing and negotiations. Secondly, a lot of states from California, Ohio, New York are banning adoption agencies that are Catholic, because the Catholic Church does not recognize same-sex marriage, and so they're considering that that is some kind of form of prejudice or racism. Don't ask me how that is. I actually came out of a Catholic St. Joseph's orphanage, so that is terrible as well. But good news overall is people are seeing through the hypocrisy and lies of the left, and we may have our republic restored. If you'd like to hear more details, you should come to Prather and Pizza in Tucson, Arizona on June 2nd, where we'll have about 3 hours of talk and questions and answers and videos and great pizza and gourmet salad and dessert from my wonderful wife. To register, go to 520-241-7690. This is Jeff Prather on the Chips and Salsa Show with this week's Prather Point.
Ready? Welcome back. That was a Prather Point, and that was a very good message that he was, putting out there. I hope a lot of you picked up on that. Also, Prather is going to have Prather and Pizza, Republic versus the Deep State, June the 2nd, 2018, 6 p.m. Very limited seats, and it's by reservations only. Call 520-241-7690. Cold Truth, hot pizza, jaw-dropping videos with gourmet salad and homemade salad. I think his wife is making the pizzas or something. But it's going to be great. It's in Tucson, and it's, let's see if I have the address here. It's in Tucson, but I don't have the address. Anyway, we'll bring you the address later, because I know I have it somewhere. And it's going to be June the 2nd in Tucson, Arizona. Call for reservations at 520-241-7690. It's going to be a great show. So tune in and come right back to the Chips and Salsa Show. We'll be right back after this commercial.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that Mommy and Daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now at centerright.live.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired War Horse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Jorge El Alacran, Hillary's deplorable one, as you can see in my shirt. And we went through a few glitches there, but hey, we're back. And now you're on Facebook on the Chips and Salsa Show, and on Facebook and on the radio on CenterRight.live, CenterRight.live, and that's where the Facebook is streaming from. So you're actually streaming from CenterRight.live. And if you go back, you'll be able to watch the whole show later on. I wanted to point out that there's an organization, a couple of organizations that you should go to this weekend. One is TroopsDirect.org. TroopsDirect.org. It's a group that was made up from veterans, soldiers. That a lot of stuff was hard to get. The troops on the field was hard to get, going through the proper channels, the paperwork involved. So they started this organization called TroopsDirect.org. And so when the troops are in Afghanistan or Iraq or Kuwait, and they need special goggles, they need binoculars, or they need certain things that they can't get right away, they go through this organization with TroopsDirect.org. They have tentacles that reach all the way to Washington and to the people that are in charge of appropriations. And so if you want to be involved and give to this organization so they could just keep doing what they're doing great things. It's called TroopsDirect.org. TroopsDirect.org. And then another organization, because this is Memorial Day, we got to think of our veterans and our troops, is called WoundedWarriors.org. And everybody's heard of them. They're very well advertised. The Troops Direct isn't that advertised, and rightly so, because there's a lot of small things that they do that people just don't know about. You know, certain appropriations that are sent their way if they need them in an emergency. WoundedWarriors.org helps all our soldiers that are wounded and tries to reach their families and tries to reach the wounded soldiers to help them get through their debilitating injuries and help their families if they're wounded to the point where their families need help. So contact WoundedWarriors.org and TroopsDirect.org. Those are two great organizations that you can help. And if our technical director could bring up a song called West Point to Arlington, and maybe we can open up our next segment with that song, West Point to Arlington. We might not be able to do it, but if we can do it, that's a little treat that I have for Memorial Day. I wanted to announce, I had mentioned it outside, Writers USA, their 12th annual Flags for Our Fallen is having their Memorial Day rally at the National Memorial Cemetery of Arizona at 23029 North Cave Creek Road in Phoenix, Arizona 85024. It's on May the 20th. It's on the Monday, Memorial Day, which is I guess May 28th. Huh? Yeah, because today's the 26th. It's on May the 28th, Memorial Day, at 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. So you got to be there early. But it is going to be out of this world. This is a tribute to our fallen soldiers, to our veterans that have passed, and for their families that are coming to visit them on Memorial Day and pay respect. What the bikers do is they line up on Cave Creek. All the motorcycles line up, and they put flags for like 2 miles or more. And people pay for the flags. They pay for the little insignias, a little caption on the flag, because if you pay so much, they put a little caption on the flag, who it's from. If not, the flags are lined up. You wouldn't believe it. They had it last year. It was fantastic. They've had it for 12 years. This is the 12th annual. They've had it for 11 years. This is the 12th year. They started a few days ago. So the flags are up. But you're going to see motorcycles and people, patriots, lined up all the way to the cemetery, paying homage and tribute to these fallen vets. And I would encourage everybody to join the Riders USA for their 12th annual Flags for Our Fallen Memorial Day rally. We will be lining up the flags and motorcycles on Cave Creek Road, south of Pinnacle Peak Road, at the entrance to the National Cemetery to salute the families of our veterans as they come into the National Cemetery for the Memorial Day service. You can visit their website at event page Riders USA. This is the true meaning of Memorial Day. And I wanted to, this is not a celebration, because we're not celebrating anything. We're celebrating the moment, I guess you can say, but it's a day of remembrance of our fallen soldiers who have given everything for the freedoms that we have today. And we have a lot of freedoms in this country. We have the freedom of the press, freedom of speech, the freedom to bear arms. A lot of freedoms that, some people want to take away from us. Our soldiers have given their life and blood for this country, for our freedoms. If you couldn't do that in other countries. They'd put you in prison, they'd put you in jail, they'd kill you. Our country has so many freedoms. It has freedoms for gay people. It has freedom for transsexuals. Transvestites or whatever. And I mean, we have freedoms for everybody. There's freedoms. Everybody has freedoms. We have laws and order, and you have to follow the law of the land. But we have freedoms that no other country has. These soldiers have died defending our freedom, defending our Constitution, defending our way of life. And that's what Monday is, Memorial Day. It's a day to memorialize our soldiers, our forefathers that fought in all the wars and gave their lives for our country. And they sit in the cemetery, and we're very proud of the service that they gave our country. My son is in the Army. He's overseas, and he's doing everything he can for our country, in service of our country. My granddaughter, she's in South Carolina with her husband. Both are in the Coast Guard, and they're coming over here for this weekend to visit, but they're going to Milwaukee. They're being restationed in Milwaukee. My daughter, in Maricopa, is married to a veteran of the Coast Guard of 17 years, 12 or 17 years, and he gave a lot to this country. Right now he's under medical disability, or he got discharged because of medical and honorable discharge. And we're very proud of his service. Everybody in the military does it out of a duty, because once you get in and you pass boot camp, you either stay in or you get out. The ones that stay in, they do it for the love of our country. And every serviceman I've talked to, that's their family. And so I think that Memorial Day is a day that we should all take time. Yeah, people have barbecues, people have parties and stuff, but it's about the memory of the soldiers. So keep them in mind. And if you can go to the cemetery, this one's right there off of Cave Creek Road, and spend a couple hours. I'm going to be there. I'm going to spend a couple hours there. I'll probably do a video post for the Chips and Salsa show and walk down the line of flags. I meant to do it last year. I couldn't do it, but I'm going to do it this year. And I think that everybody should, memorialize your soldiers in one way or the other. If you can't go anywhere, if you stay home, think about soldiers. Think about what they've done to give their lives for our country. It looks like I'm coming down to another break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Jorge El Alacran.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that Mommy and Daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now at centerright.live.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Jorge, Don Jorge, and my co-host Alice would be here, but she's celebrating her anniversary with her husband, and she'll be back next week, next Saturday, with a fantastic guest that we have planned, and we'll announce it later on in the week. We're going to be playing a song. It's called West Point to Arlington. We're not going to play the whole song because it's 4 minutes, but I would want you to go online and listen to the song in its entirety. So we're going to play about 2 minutes of it, and then it's called West Point to Arlington, and it's written and sung by soldiers who have served in the armed forces, and they're paying tribute to the soldiers in Arlington, Virginia, and it's going to be sung on Monday as a tribute in Arlington, Virginia. So, Brandon?
Driving home from work today to
that song is a great song for Memorial Day, and I would recommend, if you want to hear the rest of it, just go to West Point to Arlington. Again, it's called West Point to Arlington, and it's written by Special Forces soldiers who served and watched their buddies pass away, and they come together as a group, and they've sung a few songs, and this one it's called West Point to Arlington, and they're going to be doing a tribute at West Point or at Arlington National Cemetery on Monday, and that they're going to be singing that song as a remembrance to all the veterans who have passed away and the soldiers. And it's a great song, and they do it for the love of this nation. They do receive a little bit of money here and there, but not enough to, like the megastars. These guys do it for the love of their country and to remember the soldiers they left behind. So listen to the song in its entirety, and I think you'd understand what I'm saying. I want to mention a few things, and it's about Trump, of course. I can do that because my co-host is in here. She'd be taking me in different directions, so I get to talk to what I want to talk. He's bringing peace to Korea. After 65 years, there may be peace on the 38th parallel. If we can get Rocket Man, I still call him Rocket Man, to meet with our president, and under no special terms other than the president wanting to denuclearize the Koreas, and he can do it. And I think Kim Jong-un, the president of North Korea, will sit down and have a fruitful talk to our president, because our president does mean what he says, and he means business. He wants to bring peace. He doesn't want those underhanded deals that we had with other presidents that never came out. In 65 years, they've never had peace in that part of the country. We've had soldiers there guarding the Korean Peninsula for that many years, and it's got to end. And I really hope, I pray that our president can accomplish this. And it's not political. The Democrats should just quit trying to obstruct and let the president try to bring peace. Because if he brings peace there, bring peace to the world. Because then we'll go to Iran and try to deal with that issue. And I think that's what's next. So let's all pray for our president and pray that he does accomplish what he's set out to accomplish. It looked like it wasn't going to happen, but yesterday things have changed a little bit, and the North is starting to give in a little bit and saying that they may meet with our president. So let's hope that it happens. Okay. Another thing is unemployment's at a 50-year low, and the president welcomed the wounded warriors to the White House a few weeks ago, and to help kick off the Wounded Warriors Soldier Ride. And President Trump couldn't have been more accurate when he called these selfless veterans our most incredible people. That's just one thing I wanted to talk about. Me and my compadre over here, he's Brandon Jones. He's the founder and director of CenterRight.live. We've been getting signatures for our legislative district to become PC committeemen. And we encourage all PC committeemen out there to get their signatures in, get their petitions in. And that's how the Republican Party works, is through legislative districts, through the PC committeemen who get together, and they have a chairman. I'm a chairman of Legislative District 19. Brandon is a chairman of Legislative District 27. And we listen to our precinct committeemen who listen to the people in their precincts. And then we go and we meet with the county Republican Party as a group. There's like 20 of us in Maricopa County. And we try to get the message that the county is sending back to the legislative district, so we could tell our PC committeemen to go out and talk to their people and let them know what's happening in the Republican Party. So PC committeemen are very important, and so we encourage you to go out and get signatures, get the signatures you need. They're due by Tuesday, the 30th, or Wednesday, the 30th, by midnight, completed forms. Or you can take them to your chairman, he'll turn them in. Brandon, didn't you have a lady that you approached today that was really, really, could you talk a little bit about that? Or yeah, it's only because he went door to door today, and the lady he met was it was an interesting story, and I think I want to share that with you.
Yeah, so a few people that I met today, actually really, really good experiences. When you get out into the neighborhoods and you actually talk with people, you learn a lot about the climate of their life and what they're going through and how policy affects them particularly. And I ran into a family, a husband and wife, and they were Democrat. So the data, you know, on some of our walk books is not always 100% perfect, and it showed like 5 people at the home, some Republican, some Democrat. So, you know, as a policy, we try to approach everybody, and we don't try to cause issues and engage in negative dialogue. But it was very productive, good conversation. You know, they were very respectful people, and they were very, you know, I handed them a, you know, Trump door hanger and a, you know, Martha McSally handout, as well as my card and stuff. And, you know, and we joked a little bit, and I said, please don't burn the, you know, Trump handout there. And, you know, but it was all in good fun. Actually, they started reading it, which was great. But we were just talking about, you know, the gun policies, and, you know, how the, you know, sometimes we need to look for the government's failures before we try to make the government put more policies in place that are going to fail. You know, if they can't, you know, if somebody has a mental illness or issue that shouldn't have got a firearm before, if that somehow is missing when somebody goes to purchase a firearm, that policy has already failed. So enacting new policies are not going to fix anything until we fix those other problems. And, you know, as we were talking, I was showing them, you know, a lot of the news media, they're like the shiny object. Come look over here, and then we can distract everybody from actually solving any problems. You know, and one of them is that, you know, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed, and they were in agreement with me on a lot of these issues, you know, and we all pretty much agree on a lot of the same thing. And they were very, I think for them to speak with a Republican who, you know, is in person, who actually has some education on the Republican platform and policies, they were very, you know, enlightened, I think. And so hopefully when they go back and talk to their friends, they don't have the same disdain that they probably do. But it was very, you know, and I also try to let them know, as far as the Democratic Party, you know, what's been solved. You know, I told them, I said, you know, especially on some trade things, Bernie Sanders and Trump actually saw eye to eye on some of those things. And, you know, the Democrat Party has, they ruined Bernie Sanders' campaign, and the superdelegates are the way that they maintain control over the party. So, and it's actually just an exact image of why the Democrat ideology is the way it is, because somebody elite believes that they're going to have a better idea than the people of their own party have, and so they regain that by having those super delegates. And so I asked them, I said, what has the Democrat Party done to fix that problem for next time? because they're still in the position to rob it from you again. And they didn't have a lot to say about that because it has not been fixed. And I said, as long as they're showing you the shiny objects over here, Trump's a racist, Trump does this, look at this Russia thing, then Democrats will look inside their own party and get to the bottom of the issue. So it was a very, very fun, productive day out. I did get almost all my signatures,
What about that lady are you able to talk to about the lady in the wheelchair?
Yeah, the gal in the wheel, there's a lovely lady that I came up to, and she was wheelchair bound, and definitely dealing with some disabilities, and it was she came to the door on her own, and I told her, obviously she's listed as a registered Republican, and she was very happy to have me there, and we were talking a little bit about, she asked me if I support our president, and I said absolutely. The duly elected president of the people, anybody should support. That doesn't mean you need to agree with everything they do or their policies, but you need to respect the presidency of this country. And she was just really delighted, and she, bless her heart, could barely write with a pen, and she was able to sign my petition, and it was just a very special thing for me. So
yeah, not too many people probably come up to her and are able to talk to her, and that's what's so good. That's what we do out there as committeemen, because not only are we chairman, but we're committeemen. So we go out there knocking on that door and talking to that constituent, regardless if you're a Democrat or a Republican, and giving them the issue. Let them decide. And of course, Republicans are going to react like this lady did, and she was ecstatic. And
another gentleman as well, actually, which on the other side of things, he's a registered Republican, and he's a younger gentleman, close in age to myself, and he's very upset with the two-party system. He thinks that the division that happens among the two-party system is causing a lot of issues, because he's seeing the lockups in the Congress and the Senate. We spoke a little bit about Jeff Flake and McCain, and I think most people agree that it's probably better that both of those people are kind of especially with McCain, to get take his time and probably rest and enjoy what he can in his life. And he's definitely, policies aside, he's fought for our country, and I'll give the man the benefit of the doubt, and he's served in the Senate for a long time and helped pass some really good policy. But as of late, a lot of us disagree with a lot of things, and which is fine. But this gentleman that I talked to, and I said, what are your biggest concerns? And, so that when we're in front of people, who make decisions, that I can express, your concern to the people that are passing legislation. And, he just wants to feel that, we're anytime he feels like he votes for people, it's more of the same, and so we talked about how Trump has, hasn't been able to do everything, like repealing Obamacare, but when they passed the tax reform, they bundled the mandate. So they repealed the mandate so that it will over time dismantle what was basically a very, very rough healthcare deal, So we have a lot to fix, but it's very good that we can go out there as precinct committeemen and listen to the constituents in our precincts and keep politics local.
And say, to me, this is Memorial Day weekend, and it's a good time for us to get out and knock on doors and meet people and show that we care about veterans as much as they care about veterans. And I hope that this brought a little bit of understanding regarding what we do as precinct committeemen and what we do as Republicans. It's not all about our agenda. It's about meeting people and talking about what the agenda should be and could be. And thank you, Brandon, for your sharing of that, because when he told me about the lady in the wheelchair, I was touched. And some of the people that he had ran into, it's the same thing we're running into my legislative district. The same people say the same questions, and we need to get out. We need to get out and talk to people. And we need to be, as a Republican Party, now I'll talk as a Republican Party, we need to be a united party. And regardless of who's running for office, we have to stay united. Our message has to be the same. We're there for the people. We're there for the communities that we represent. And if we don't do what we say we're going to do, then you have to be voted out of office. But if the people that are there aren't doing what they have to do, they have to be voted off. Well, it's come to another, we're wrapping it up. This is going to be the last of our segments. The show has gone really fast. I don't know how. Usually with Alice, it seems like it's longer. But I was going to read a letter here from Senator Jon Kyl. And this is in fairness to Martha McSally. Martha McSally is the only candidate running that hasn't been on our show. We had Sheriff Joe, and he was a very good guest, and he has a lot to say, and he's a very good patriot. Kelly Ward, Dr. Kelly Ward was on our show. She's the other candidate, and we've had her on our show several times, and she's a very good candidate, and she's a very patriotic candidate. So both of them have expressed their views. I received a letter from Senator Jon Kyl, and it reads, and this is in supporting Martha McSally. It says, I'm writing today to ask you personally to help a true patriot and public servant, retired Air Force Colonel Martha McSally, who's running for Arizona U.S. Jon Kyl, Arizona Republican, U.S. Senator from 1995 to 2013. The reason I read this letter, and I have some more to read about it, we'll do it at another time. about her qualifications for Senate. I wanted to give her a chance because she is a busy congresswoman. She may not be on our program, but she deserves.
The last paragraph, bud?
Huh?
Can you reread the last paragraph? The audio lost, and I added us back in.
The last paragraph. Okay. She flew 2 more combat missions during Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. She retired in 2010, but her desire to serve our nation never diminished. I continue to be impressed by her exemplary service and her dedication to defending the freedoms we appreciate in the United States. In Congress, McSally has continued to protect and defend our borders and our Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. In fact, she was rated as one of the top 10 most effective members of Congress in only her second term. Defeating McSally's liberal Democratic opponent, which was Kristen Sinema, a strong Obama-Clinton apologist, is key to the Republican control of the U.S. Senate. I know McSally would be incredibly grateful for your friendship and support. And that's signed Senator John Kyle, Arizona Republican, U.S. Senator from 1995 to 2013, and U.S. Representative from 1987 to 1995. The reason I read this letter from the senator was because we had the other 2 on our show, and it's only proper to give another insight on another candidate that's running for office. McSally is running, Dr. Kelly Ward is running, and Sheriff Joe Arpaio is running. It's up to you, the voters, to decide who you would pick in the primary to go against Kristen Sinema, who is very well funded by the Democratic Party. I would want you to know at least a little bit about McSally, so that you could, Martha McSally, so that you would have an opportunity to judge for yourself who you want to vote for. I can't endorse either one of them, but I wanted to be fair. So, like I said, she's a busy congresswoman. That's probably why she can't come on our program, but that's a little bit about her. I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. If you can go to the flags for a falling, please do. Hug your family today, and have a blessed weekend. Thank you. We'll see you next week.